This is the longest train journey in Canada and our first trip across the country with our twin babies and our moms. Even though it got a bit complicated at times, just squeezes by, but there's nowhere to really put it or open it.
Traveling with kids is not easy traveling, that's for sure.
We're going to show you why this journey is a bucket list adventure for so many people. Do you think we brought enough, Carla?
I think so. I know. Traveling with kids is not easy traveling, that's for sure. And I stressed so much to try to pack as light as I could. But like traveling for 2 months is just like, I mean, how can I?
Happy to be checked in?
Yes,
well,
I am
actually,
happy.
Technically not checked in, but the bag is drop off.
Yes, and I must say it looked like we have a lot of luggage, but it looked that we have way more because we needed to pack smaller bags because all our big luggage goes into another car that you don't see for the whole 4 days. So we needed to pack smaller bags for the 4 days that we're gonna be on the train. So, I mean, we still have a lot of things, but not as many.
And if you count the babies, there's 6 of us. I feel so privileged we're getting a ride in a golf cart because of all our bags.
It's a long train, eh?
The day has finally arrived!
Yeah! A lot of preparation, a lot of moving pieces for this trip. But we're so excited because we're about to board
the Canadian, and it travels all the way from Vancouver to Toronto, Ontario.
Yes, and we've been looking forward to this trip a lot because it's not only the twins' first train trip, but it's also our mother's first train trip.
And it's an extra special trip because we're actually going all the way to Halifax as well. So in this video, we'll be focused on the big train to Toronto, but you'll want to keep watching all our other videos to see what it's like to go all the way to Canada's East Coast.
Oh la la! I actually never imagined the room like this. Like, I've seen pictures with the bunk bed, but I wasn't sure how it was gonna be during the day.
All right, Emma, you want to give everyone a tour of your first train cabin? It's very tight, let me tell you that, especially with all our bags. All right, open. All right, so first things first, this is where you can put your jackets. Voila, here's the whole room. This is actually 2 rooms because this right here is a wall that's usually put up, but because we're a family, they removed it. Right now the beds are up, so we have the chairs down, and I can give you a very quick tour because it's basically all right here. This is the sink area, your mirrors. This is drinkable water. This is to wash your hands, although he said you can actually drink from any tap here. These are all the little switches for the lights. Got some plug-ins here. You have a fan up above. Another little hook to put your jacket. Another mirror behind the door.
Oh, this is always useful for all the ladies.
Yeah. Little place for magazines here or something, you know?
Yeah, and as you can see, it's full of bags.
Yeah, and if you want more space here, there's not a lot, of course, because it's a train, but you can flip this up, and then you have a place to put stuff over the sink. But don't do what my mom did and hit the water while it's up, because it will splash all over you. And then, of course, the bathroom. It's very tiny, kind of like basically the same as an airplane bathroom.
Over here we have 2 bags with dry towels as well as some shampoo and maybe conditioner. We haven't really explored, but we're gonna show you the showers.
Yeah, at another time we'll show you the showers.
Because they're in a separate room.
Yeah, normally they say you have to book the showers at certain times, but I'm not sure why, but for this one he said you can just use it whenever you want. So at some point we'll be using those. So
later tonight our attendant is gonna help us out to bring the bunk beds down, and then we'll show you how it works and how it looks. I'm very curious about that. So far we can tell you that it's definitely a very tight space to bring babies, but I mean, we're gonna make it work. And voila, here are our beds. So one up here, one down here. You also have a light that you can turn off or dim, as well as some leather pouches here for more stuff, and a small shelf, and of course a button for calling the attendant.
Well, they certainly weren't lying when they said to pack light. As you can see, even the carry-on bag like just squeezes by, but there's nowhere to really put it or open it when the beds are open anyways. And even our bathroom door just misses the ladder. So yeah, hard to do with kids, but if you can, definitely pack as light as possible.
Well, it's time for their milk, and then it's bedtime because today was a very busy day just reorganizing all the bags to fit in this tight space, as we said before. And also because we need to have a good rest, because tomorrow is a very exciting day because we're going through the rock.
Well, it's day 2 on the train, and now it's time for our first breakfast. They actually serve you breakfast, lunch, and supper throughout the day, and the menu does change daily as well. They even have a kids menu that we've been looking on because we can actually feed the babies some of the food on the train too. The omelet of the day has feta and herbs. It's very good. Always like feta and eggs go together so well.
And I chose the banana pecan pancakes because it just sounds delicious. And of course we're in Canada, so you're getting real Canadian maple syrup. Yeah, they taste pretty good. Well, it's 11 a.m. and we're arriving to Jasper. It's crazy how quickly the morning went with breakfast and everything. I'm glad that we got to see some of the mountains during breakfast because pretty much this is the end.
Yeah, well, the scenery, especially from Vancouver to Jasper, is a lot of mountains, and I think we passed by a lot at night, but also I think because we have babies, we're in bed pretty early, so a lot of people probably saw them, whereas we didn't. Yeah. Thankfully, we've been to the mountains many times, but if it's your first time here, you definitely want to spend as much time as you can looking out the windows, especially here in the dome car where you have the panoramic windows so you can really see those mountain peaks. We actually tried coming earlier, but as you can imagine, it's a very popular place to be.
Yeah, but we better go back to our cabin because we're gonna get off. Also, like you can get off here, actually leave the train and explore Jasper for a few days if you want, and some other people are getting on board. But we're just gonna get off for an hour or so, so we better go.
Well, we're walking the streets of Jasper now. This is a really beautiful mountain town, one of our favorite. Kind of like Banff, but much quieter. We've been here many times, I'm sure, at least a dozen times. Even Emma's has been here 3 times. We're not gonna have much time to explore it this time, of course, but we have many videos on Jasper, so we'll post them in our description below, because if you're gonna be spending a few days here, you definitely wanna check those out, because there's so many things to do.
So for lunch, we got the chicken nugget soup, and then for a second course, we got the smoked salmon as well as the chicken pot pie. Goes so fast. I can't believe that it's supper time again, and we're gonna start with cream of mushrooms, which is pretty good. Well, Sophia and Emma also really like the mushroom soup, eh? Oh, they've been trying a lot of the food and they like it. I also got beef tenderloin with mushrooms, and my mom got a trout fillet with some white wine as well as lemon.
Since we're in Alberta now, I also went for the beef tenderloin as a homage to my home province. It's cooked really to perfection. It's super tender. The sauce is good. And actually, to be honest, all the food has been good so far. It's only really day one and a half, let's call it. And we've noticed that a lot of the products are from Canada, like Canadian products. And you know, we've had maple syrup, salmon from BC, chicken pot pie, all kinds of things. It's all really good.
For dessert, we got carrot cheesecake, which I've never tried before. And I must say that dessert portions here are huge. So I usually don't finish them. And I already had a taste of this, and it's very good, but very sweet. Today is day 3 on the train, and we are going through the prairies. I'm not sure if we're already in Saskatchewan, but you can see that the landscape is already changing. And also it's bath day for the babies. So I just want to show you that in your cabin will come with a bag of like this one, and inside you have 2 towels, one full size and one small size that my mom took out, as well as some shampoo and a soap. So now I'm gonna show you how the showers are. I already took a shower yesterday, so I'm more familiar. Lucky for us, the showers are just besides our cabin, right here. And they're actually very spacious, which I love, because this way you can just bring your stuff without getting them wet. Use this bench for that. Here you actually can dispose the soiled towels. And then over here is the shower, which is quite roomy as well. Here's where you can regulate the temperature of the water. It actually comes out quite hot, which is nice. And then you have a timer for the water to come out. So you just keep pressing it, and that's it. Well, now that the door is closed, you can see that there's a mirror here. You also have a hook to hang some clothes, as well as a rail here that you can use to hold on or hang more stuff, a trash can, and down on the other side there's an assistance button just in case something happens. Hopefully no one gets to use this, but that's it. So let's go and grab the twins, because TikTok, then it's breakfast.
You ready for your bath?
Yes.
Do, do, do. You like that, Emma? That's what the guy speaking on the speaker always does when he gives us an announcement. And right now he's just said that we are stopped here in Saskatchewan. Actually, in the morning when we weren't sure where we were actually almost in Saskatoon already. Now we're on our way to Melville, but we've had to pull off to the side on a sidetrack as we wait for a cargo train to pass us and for another one to go in front of us. And that's something you pretty much have to expect on these journeys, as they rent the track from CP Rail, and they actually build in a lot of that into the itinerary and the times, although sometimes there are delays, but there's also times where they can speed it up. But basically our train is the only one small enough to fit on the side tracks. The cargo trains are way too big. Well, the babies are finally asleep, and that gives us a chance to give you a little tour of the train. And since we're passing through Saskatchewan, I thought I'd wear my Saskatchewan t-shirt to represent that cool prairie province. And right now I'm standing inside a 2-berth sleeper plus room. So basically there's 3 levels of service. There's economy, sleeper plus, and prestige. Economy is basically just chairs. We actually have no access to those cars. We're staying in sleeper plus, which is right in the middle, and there's basically 1, 2, 3, and 4 berth cabins that you can look at, or different sleeping areas. We're staying in 2 separate 2-berth cabins, and this wall that you see here, they just simply remove and push it back, and then it's kind of like you have one bigger room. And as you can see here, right now you have the chairs set up instead of the beds, and it's pretty narrow. There's not a lot of space, as we've already mentioned, but if you do want extra space, you might be able to request F. That's the larger room that we also have as part of our E&F setup, and it definitely gives you a little more space. So this is more of your open style 2-berth. You'd have someone sleeping on the bottom, and this would pull down into a bed as well, and as you can see, it's just a bed straight in. Of course, your space is even more limited here. You have less room for your bags, not really any hooks, but there is a fan, you do have your mirror, you do have a light, and you don't have a private bathroom, but there is a public one just down the hallway. And this is the 1-person berth cabin, so it's pretty comfortable actually. Thankfully we get to get a sneak peek at it because of our tenant Fabian has been so great. This is actually where he stays. So I'm sitting on the bench during the day. Carla's actually sitting on the toilet, but it doesn't look like a toilet. It has a cushion that you put on top of it, so it's kind of like having an extra chair. And then of course you pretty much have everything you'd find in the other cabin. You have all your little switches for the lights. You have a lot of hooks. You have storage up top. You have your own sink, and see tissue, obviously your own window, and then at night when you want to sleep, the bed pulls down from here and goes on top of both the toilet and the bench.
So if you were to share a bathroom, there's actually one for females and one for men. And it's actually pretty big. So here you have your sink, you have your soap, hand sanitizer, some tissues, cups, extra toilet paper, very important, you never want to run out of it. There's even here like a small stool as well as a mirror if you want to put your makeup and all that stuff. Over here you can control the ceiling light and the mirror light back here, and the toilet and the bottom for the toilet, which works like a airplane toilet. It sucks everything in. Also in many of the cars you're gonna find this dispenser of water. I guess you need to have a small cup because a big water bottle won't fit, but it's also pretty handy. So there's actually 6 rooms in each car from A to F. Plus the single berth cabins. It seems that at the beginning of every car you're gonna find the toilets as well as a water dispenser. And for us it's kind of a long walk to get to the dining car. This is what it's called, the Skyline car, also known as the activity car or the dining car, because it's what it's good for. And here's where you can hang out. There's some benches and tables where you can meet other passengers. And if you go up the stairs, it's where you find the dome section with the panoramic views. Over here is where you can order some drinks besides a tea and coffee and water and juice, which is included in the Sleeper Plus. So they have an extra cost. The only one that has everything included, including alcoholic beverages, is the Prestige class. And here is pretty much the activity section part, where here on this board is where they will put like the different activities that are gonna go on during the day. Here, if you get hungry, which I doubt, is where you can get some muffins as well as hot water and coffee. Someone is building a puzzle and there's some game work. I really hope that we get to use this maybe tomorrow, but it's hard with this. And lastly is the dining section, which here's where we come for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And if we walk for another 20 minutes, you'll be able to go to the Prestige section, which they say that you're allowed to go after 4 p.m. During the high peak season, like the summertime, because it's so busy. Which we're not sure if we're gonna be able to do it just because it's a long walk, but that's pretty much it.
After Emma and Sofia woke up from their nap, it was time for another delicious lunch and of course another delicious dessert, before finally getting the chance to enjoy some time together in the dome car, looking out at the prairie landscapes until 4 p.m.
Well, we finally made it. We're on our way to the other park car, the other Skylight, that they said is only available after 4 p.m. It's supposed to be, oh, it already looks very brand new.
And so it's a Skyline, not Skylight.
Looks very fancy already.
It smells like hotel.
Ours looks a little more retro.
Yeah.
I wonder how far we still got. There's a lot of doors. We're at the other side of the train.
Yeah, this is 231. We are in 209, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 209.
Car, is it? Fancy.
You don't even need to open the doors. They're automatic. Is an elevator?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've never done a research about this book. I did about bar. Well, we just took a little tour through the park car that we've been waiting to see. Pretty much similar layout, but of course they have much more comfortable seating. It has a more luxurious vibe, and of course they have a bar. So that's where I'm sitting right now, checking out the menu. Lots of different cocktail options and much more premium liquors to choose from. Of course, for them, it's all included, so why not? And this is where you can really see the wine list, and everything is from Canada. Well, Emma had a good sleep last night, that's for sure. And today we woke up in the province of Ontario. We pretty much slept through half of Manitoba, and I think it was around midnight when we got to Winnipeg, as we were allowed off the train, but of course we were sleeping at that time. But we did have a complete crew change, so we have a completely new crew as of today, and we've already noticed how much the landscapes have changed coming into Ontario, as we've already passed a number of big lakes and a lot of forest. How's the train been so far? Yeah? So good? Oh, so good? Well, we haven't really made it to any of the special events. Well, me and my mom came to trivia once, but even that got interrupted because of little babies. But this time, we wanted to at least come for the wine tasting.
Yeah.
Especially because it's our last night on the train.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a private session because everyone chose to do it later. So better for us.
More wine for us, right?
Yeah. Right? Even the babies
Right,
are so
Sophia?
excited. It smells like pear and apple. Me, I cannot actually taste the fruit. I taste more like the okra. I get that.
Pretending to be a connoisseur. Well, it's hard to believe that we're going into our 4th night on the train, so this is our last meal aboard the Canadian. We're only about, I don't even think we're halfway through Ontario yet. It's such a big province. We're still going to be on here probably for another almost 24 hours before we're in Toronto. And according to our attendant the other day, we've actually been kind of cruising down the Canadian Shield. So basically ever since leaving the Rockies, we've been going down in elevation. So I'm not sure what elevation Toronto is at, but pretty much goes Edmonton, and then you're going down a bit more in Saskatoon, and we're just basically going downhill the whole way. Well, it's day 5 on the train, our last day, and as you can see, Carla has given up.
Yes, I'm too tired.
Actually, we got woken up pretty early today, like 6 or 5:30 or something. Then we fed the babies and went back to bed, so we just made it in time for breakfast, because today the schedule's a bit different. It's just a continental breakfast, like literally just oatmeal and yogurt, not even fruit for it, although I found a banana at least somewhere, so that helped. And then there's going to be brunch from 9:30 to 1:30, so we thought we'd come anyway so that we could hold off till closer to lunch, because it looks like we're pretty close to Sudbury, which means we should be on time and landing into Toronto hopefully at 2:30. And just like that, our room is back to 4 chairs.
I know. We have some mixed feelings because of course this was like a bucket list for us, like, you know, traveling across Canada on train, and for our moms. But at the same time, we're looking forward to more space.
Well, especially I think having twins definitely, well, it interrupts some of the experience. Obviously, it's awesome having the twins on board, but you know, half the day you're kind of in bed, like having naps with them, and
yes,
the other half you're feeding them and changing diapers. So we barely had a chance to look out the window as much as we would have liked to.
Yes, and I find that it's a great way of traveling, like probably, of course, more enjoyable than jump on a plane. It takes longer, you get to enjoy the scenery, you know, the food is great, but and with kids I guess can be great, but with babies it can be quite limited space, like, you know, and also like you're depending on the schedules that they have on the train. So it was really a little bit complicated for us, for anyone wondering how is to travel with babies. With kids it's much different, but with babies can be a little bit more challenging, I think, in that sense.
Yeah, and it's a unique way to see such a big country like Canada. All I could think about being here for 5 days now on the train is how long this track is, and that's just from Vancouver to Toronto. We still have the rest of the leg to go from Toronto to Montreal, and then from Montreal to Halifax. So make sure, if you want to learn about traveling across the entire country, to make sure to watch those other 2 videos that we're going to have out as well. And other than that, we also wanted to say, when you're traveling on Via Rail, just know that there will most likely be delays, right? Because we're about maybe an hour from Toronto now, and we're delayed 2 or 3 hours. So I think I've heard some people talking about like their connections when they get there. So definitely book yourself a night in a hotel or more, or stay longer because you probably want to see Toronto. It's a really cool city. And other than that, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. We always love to hear from everyone. And other than that, if you want to learn more about Canada, check out our website at mustdocanada.com. So in the end, how late were we?
4 hours or 5 hours and 40 minutes.
5:30.